Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. Today, top tips about hand signals. Recently, I made a couple of videos showing some scuba actual hand signals, but there are some abstract tips and advice on how to communicate a bit more effectively using your hands in the water. Review your signals before the dive. Hand signals are not universal around the world, so there will be some circumstances where you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about because they're almost literally talking another language with their hands. Most of the fundamentals are going to be quite universal, like okay and there's something wrong, but others can be regional and training agency specific. So just have a quick catch up with your buddy just before the dive so that you actually know what their hand signals mean. Think about your background. If you're wearing black gloves and you hold that black gloved hand signal in front of your black wetsuit in murky waters, your buddy probably isn't going to see it or see it very well. So think about holding your hand signal out to a lighter background or using a torch to actually highlight your hand so it silhouettes a bit better, or invest in just a bright paired or a brightly colored pair of gloves so that your hands just stand out a bit better against a dark background. Think about the environment that you're diving in and try and make your hands stand out a bit. Don't rush your hand signals. Give it a good 2 count so that your buddy can actually look at your hand, look at the signal, recognize it and process it before moving on to the next hand signal. Too many divers just plow through their messages like they're signing at an M&M show, but for a lot of divers it takes a moment to actually process each of those individual hand signals and string them together to understand the whole message. So just give it a good 2 count so that they can properly see that hand signal. Practice your hand signals. You can find yourself tongue-tied with your fingers if you don't practice your hand signals from time to time. In your own time, just run through your numbers like DSMB and just build up some muscle memory and build up your fingers vocabulary in the water so that you know what you're talking about. That way, when you come across something in the water, you can communicate more clearly and more readily. Don't be afraid to ad-lib a little. As humans, we have a ton of non-verbal hand signals that we just use in day-to-day life. And you can come up with some random signals that work in the situation but don't really mean what you specifically mean. If you want to head to the wheelhouse of the shipwreck, if you need to look at something very small or something very big, you'll find yourself doing it quite naturally because we do them all the time without thinking. So don't be afraid to throw up some hand signals that mean something similar to what you're trying to mean, but if you don't know the exact hand signal, it's close enough and they should hopefully get that idea. If you're ever in doubt, just point and show like you're in a bakery in a foreign country. If you can't remember your numbers for how much gas you have left, or your dive computer is displaying something weird, just kind of show us instead of staring at it, panicking inside your head and just, oh, I don't remember, just show it to us. If you think you should send up a DSMB, just point to it wherever it is. If there's something wrong with a piece of equipment, just point to it, and that should get you out of a lot of troubles. If it's really complicated, then just write it down. We carry slates and wet notes to remember things too long or complicated to remember during the dive, or to communicate things that hand signals just won't do. It's better to write down your exact meaning instead of confused hand signals. So if your buddy keeps going, then write it down. It's best that you repeat hand signals that you see, or at least respond to them positively so that your buddy knows that you've actually seen and processed what they've said. They're just going to keep bugging you if you see the hand signal and then sit there and then just kind of turn away and do your own thing. They're going to come after you and make sure that you have seen it. And yeah, an okay is fine, but an okay and then repeat that signal is even better, so they definitely know that you got the message. Some signals can actually have dual meanings, so do be careful. Things like cut They can obviously mean to cut through something like a pair of scissors, but it can also mean to stop a behavior. Bubbles and inflate. Some divers use bubbles, or just fingertips tapping together, to just adjust your buoyancy because it's bubbles and you're adding gas into your BCD. But someone else might be trying to tell you that there's actually bubbles coming from your BCD inflator hose or something. So try to think a little bit laterally and consider some multiple meanings of some signals that you see in the water. If you don't understand something and you just end up going along with the more experienced diver, whatever they've said, I don't know, but I'll follow them anyway, don't be afraid to ask them after the dive, hey, you know that hand signal, what were you trying to say, to help build your vocabulary? It could just be that they use a different hand signal to you and you're now becoming a bit more bilingual, but best case scenario, you've just learned a new hand signal. If you want to brush up on your hand signals, there are a bunch of videos detailing each of the basic hand signals and some more advanced hand signals. I've even done a few myself. They're going to be up here on the dive brief linked. If you have any other tips for scuba divers, by all means let them know down in the comments below, and then of course head over to simplyscuba.com. Thank you for watching everybody, and of course, safe diving.